All right, once again, in the gap between Celtics Magic and the regular season, Celtics have Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner ahead of them in the first round matchup. The other day, we did a little bit of film on how we think the Magic are going to guard the Celtics. So why not do the inverse? Obviously, you got Franz Wagner. There's not a ton of tape on Franz Wagner against the Celtics this season outside of that last game where Tatum and Brown and them weren't healthy. But I feel like Paolo Banchero is a very interesting player to consider when looking at how the Celtics can and can't guard him, or will and won't guard him, I suppose, is another way. You look at how Paolo shoots all over the floor, and his most efficient shots is in the paint. Inside 5 feet, he is 64% for the field. It is very good. He's phenomenal there. It's sort of like a Zion, except not awful at anything else. So it gives you a little bit more versatility. But then the further you go out, the less ideal it gets. 5 to 9 feet, you're 42.5%. Not great, really, from that close. 10 to 14, you're at 45. So he's okay from mid range. But then 15 to 19 feet, the mid range, he's 38.4%, which isn't very good. And then you step behind the 3-point line, 20 to 24 feet, he's 34%. 25 to 29 feet, he's 32%. So he's not a very good shooter or scorer outside of that arc. So when you consider the ways the Celtics are going to guard him, and we can look at some of those film too, it's a lot of, okay, we'll guard you inside the arc. We'll let you shoot a little bit, and then we'll worry about the shooters that actually matter. And that's the problem with the Magic, is they don't have a lot of shooters that actually matter. So we can take a look at some of those clips, take a look at some other stuff. We can take a brief peek at how they guarded Franz in the Baylor Shireman Torrey Craig start game as well, if we want to take a look. But that's just how it be heading in. So yeah.
And Paulo, something I think we talked about when we first discussed Orlando being the team Boston would play. Both he and Franz, but we'll talk about Paulo's more specifically, is not an efficient playmaker. He averages 5-ish assists per game this season, and he turns the ball over 3 times along the way. With that being said, all of the statistics that Jack just presented to you can be paired with that to think about how Boston could put pressure on Paolo, because one, the rest of the Magic team is not a good shooting team, as you said. But two, he hasn't been the best at making his teammates better while taking care of the basketball. He's not quite there yet. It's a leap that we've seen players who have become stars in the NBA, a la Jason Tatum, take to bring their game to the next level. And he's just not at that level yet, which is fine. He's still only, 22? He's got plenty of room to grow, plenty of time to grow as an NBA player. But as we're concerned here in April of 2025, you really want to put that extra pressure on him. I think if you're the Celtics, you feel like you can get away with maybe blitzing him a bit more than he would be used to.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think that the turnover number is what stands out most to me. I'm gonna look at here just in case, but I mean, we've talked all of this about like how bad the Magic are at shooting the ball. So that probably takes away some of the actual assists Paolo is able to generate. He does average 9.4 potential assists a game. For context, Tatum is at 11.6. So he's really not too far behind Tatum. It's just the Celtics have guys who make shots and the Magic don't have guys who make shots. That said, like you mentioned, the fact that Paolo is averaging as many assists or turnovers definitely isn't ideal. But when he has the ball in the hands that much and teams know that they can get away with doing it, he is probably going to be prone to some more of those. So let's take a look at some of the shots Paolo got in the matchup with the Celtics here. I'll share my screen. Do you want to start with the Shireman Craig game, or do you want to start with the game where there was no Franz and it was the full healthy Celtics against the Magic?
Let's see the fellas game, because
Okay.
if you can just look at the principles used here, we're going to see how much more effective they are when everybody's healthy.
Okay, let me figure out which one it exactly is, because I have a million tabs open that say the exact same thing. So those are Franz shots, and here are the Paolo shots. So here are the Paolo shots against the Shireman, Torrey Craig, and the fellas lineup. I looked very briefly as we were going through, and a lot of them are just he tries to get in the rim, and the Celtics put pressure on him in the rim. Right, that was in transition, so it was a little flawed. We want to focus a lot more in the half court. But even here, look, you see two bodies on Wendell Carter in the paint, and they're just going to let Paolo shoot a 3 in the corner. So I anticipate you see at least some of this series. I will say the Celtics starters or regular starters are probably a bit more adept at recovering to 3-point shots and helping in the paint and recovering, especially when you have a Porzingis and a Horford on the floor. But a lot of these are just them being okay with letting Paolo shoot these middies and threes, and he'll make them pay eventually, right? Like he'll make a 3 every once in a while. He'll make the middies and it's fine. But if you're the Celtics, you're more okay with that than letting, other guys get open shots. But more importantly, you're okay with that more than you're okay with letting Paolo get downhill super easily.
I mean, that's just a fact. When you have a player of this caliber, keeping him from getting the easy looks is the best way to keep him on ice. You don't want him to see the ball go in easy on a drive and then get his confidence raised up where he's feeling, oh, I'll just pull from wherever. It doesn't matter. I've got it going today.
Mm-hmm. I think this play right here sums it up perfectly. Like, not to pick on Nemi, I feel like I'm getting that reputation. That's not my intent with this play. But look
Mm.
how much earlier Nemi should have helped on this, right? Like, if you are truly trying to take away the Paolo drive, you should be helping off of Wendell Carter. And by the time he helps over, it is just way too late. Like, they could have easily stopped this. And if he had stopped this at the right time, if this is Porzingis or if this is Al or if this is Cornette helping instead of Nemi in the dunker, like, there's no way to get this pass off to Carter if Nemi is there to help immediately. Like that, by the time they get the pass off, they can recover. So I think that's going to be a key, blitzing him, and they've done that a little bit in these games. Like they settle for a step back three here and Paolo airballs because Nemi is sinking back to help on the drives. But those are the types of shots I think the Celtics are going to be okay with letting Paolo shoot. Obviously, we're going to see some transition plays mixed in here too because that's how it is. But yeah,
And, as we were talking about, keeping him from getting confident early is the best way to do this. And if you're Boston, you've been committed to playing defense this way the entire season. There have been several times where Jack and I have come on the pod after a game, been like, oh, they're married to the let the guy shoot the open three because we think he sucks defense too much. Well, if you have to concede something with Paolo, that is what you should give up as the open three. I think Boston is a good enough defensive team to not necessarily have to completely abandon defending him on the 3-point line, which is not what we're saying. The play that we originally showed for a three was just help defense. It's the way it went. It's doable. The Celtics have so many great defenders. I don't think the pick your poison mentality has to be alive here. And that's not what we're saying. This is just a game where they don't have the personnel. So when you see the game where everyone's healthy, of course, there's more pressure on Paolo in that game because there's no Franz. You can just see the difference. It's going to be night and day.
I mean, and also the context of like, if you can close out late or let Paolo shoot a three after helping somewhere else, like you take 32% on threes over 64% in the paint. Like you just like that. It's just math at that point. Like that is math. The difference being 1 point and the half as efficient. That's pretty good math. And you look here too. Obviously, there's no Franz in this game, so there's a little bit less pressure elsewhere on the floor for the Magic to take advantage of. But you see Derek White switch onto him, and they're guarding through the drive, and immediately you see Drew Holiday help all the way over in the paint to have him see an extra body because they know he's not going to be able to make this pass to Cole Anthony in the corner, who is open, but it doesn't matter because there's two bodies there. And by the time Paolo makes his decision to rise up, he is getting swarmed by Celtics defenders. They leave him open a bunch. They send two bodies at him when he's driving a bunch. Tatum goes over the screen to force him downhill, but immediately Drew Holiday helps over off of KCP, and Tatum switches there. Like they'll make a couple middies like this, but the Celtics are just going to show him bodies, and I think that is going to be the way to slow down Paolo Banchero in the series is show bodies at him, and if he takes a midi here or there, he takes a midi here and there, but if they have enough pressure on him at the rim too, we've seen here, I haven't been very impressed with his finishing through contact or through pressure, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Celtics have the personnel to guard him in enough ways to take away other things. And you look at this too, right? This is the Magic game with no Franz, but the Celtics line up fully healthy. Wendell Carter and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope led the Magic in threes, and some of the threes they got were just Derek White seeing a body, Kristaps cutting off that driving lane, and then Kristaps closing out. And Wendell Carter makes some of those, but if your offense for a series is Wendell Carter shooting threes, I don't know about you, Sam, but I feel pretty okay going up against that offense.
Yeah, you should feel fine. And a lot of these passes are very simple. Like the first play of the game where Carter makes a three on this is just the first look Paulo has. Like even in this play, right? Jalen helps over, and it's the easiest. Just yeah, that's the guy that he helped off of. He should be open, or at least that's the area he came from to help over. The first play of the game, the kick out to the corner was very similar. Orlando statistically has not been a good offensive team where you're going to be punished for making things as hard as you can on Paulo. It's kind of what we talked about earlier in the video where drives, you need to just send bodies. That is the best way for Paulo to get going. if you make it difficult on him in the paint, it's not going to translate to a lot of pretty basketball from Paolo. It's just not. Not to say he's not a skilled guy, not to say he can't score from multiple levels, but that's the best way for him as a young scorer to get going is by getting good looks at the rim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, KCP has not had a good shooting season either. I mean, the spacing isn't there like it was in Denver with Jokic and them. Um, you just put pressure in the right places, and that's how it's going to be. We can look at Franz too, quick, just to wrap it up. Franz actually did have a pretty good game against the fellas Celtics. So we can take a look at how he scored, how the Celtics could potentially change it, et cetera, going forward into the playoffs here. I mean, this first bucket is just going to be an errant transition backboard pass from Pritchard. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you do there. Sam Hauser, Torrey Craig put enough decent pressure on him. Also, random. You see Mo Wagner on the bench, how he just dresses like the coaches. I think that's the most fun thing. That's so fire. Look at him. He's standing up. That's Mo Wagner. He's just dressed like
I would have had
no
staff. Clue, actually. I don't think I would have ever noticed that.
It's sick, right? I think that's a fun little bit that he does.
Do you think he's going to be there for the playoffs? I'm sure he'll be a real irritant.
For sure.
From this, people, by the end of the series, they're probably going to be showing him on cutaways, and Celtics fans are going to fucking hate him.
Mm-hmm. What happens here? Nimi gets sealed off by the Goga screen. I mean, that's just a good play by Franz. Franz is really good, man. He's a very good scorer. I'm not saying he's going to be able to kill the Celtics because I don't think he's the best shooter just yet, but he is probably the most versatile scorer they have. Again, I mean, Nimi jumps, but Sam Hauser does a good job recovering. And you have to imagine, right? Like on this play that I just sped past, so it's going to take me a second to get back to it, right? This play where Hauser has a nice recovery. If you picture this instead of Nimi and Hauser in the action, and you picture, Jason Tatum guarding Franz Wagner and Drew Holiday on Cole Anthony, whatever. And then this is Porzingis. Porzingis probably doesn't jump there like Nimi does, but still, like if Torrey Craig and Sam Hauser can get that block, so can Drew Holiday and Derek White. So it's just a matter of picturing the right pieces in place here. This is just a cut off of a basket. I mean, I haven't seen outside of that nice Goga screen. I haven't seen anything super unstoppable from Franz, and we're about to get a different bucket. It's just like the Celtics have the defensive personnel to contain these guys. There's nothing that they can do. There's no Luka, there's no Shea, there's no Jokic who can dissect teams at quite like other players in the NBA, right? Like for as great and as Paolo and Franz are and might be by the end of their career, like they're not at the place where they can bully defenses in the same light. So you kind of live with some of it. You put the pressure on them in certain spaces. You put pressure on Franz when he's driving to the rim. I think he's probably a bit of a better passer than Paolo, so maybe you have more of an awareness to the closeout. But I mean, that was a good recovery from Jordan. He just made the shot. I just don't think the Magic have the offensive personnel to keep up with who the Celtics can throw at them on defense. And if the Celtics put the pressure in the right spots, no, I feel like they should be pretty good based on what we've seen and how the Magic have gone about getting their buckets through their stars.
Yeah, it looks like the film agrees with us on Tuesday when we were like, the talent will be the difference. And that's just what it is here. Orlando is a quality team. They are missing Jalen Suggs, which sucks for them. The Celtics are far deeper. They have far more talent at the top. They have far more two-way guys where you can just rely on them to hold their end of the bargain on defense and not be a liability on offense. And when you're thinking about what Orlando's going to be able to do and who they're going to be able to attack, the options are very, very limited. So if you're a Celtics fan, you should be feeling really good going into this series.
Indeed. Let us know what you think down below. I saw some comments. People like the film room stuff, so we'll keep doing it throughout the playoffs. It's easy enough. It's simple enough. It's fun to do. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you're feeling heading into the Orlando series just one more day as you're listening to this. You can also hit the bell. We're here every single day with new content. We'll have you covered for the entire playoffs and the entire year. We videos every day. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps up the morning after each game. And other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us streaming pregame live here for a half hour before each tip-off. It's a lot of fun. Come hang out, chat with the chat, watch us play GeoGuessr. We have a blast. What else are we going to do? You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. All pods and recaps are up there. So if you just want those, go ahead and follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Tell us about the Magic. What do you think? hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on. Taco.